The foundations of our country is the ability to celebrate our democracy and the ability to celebrate the First Amendment, freedom of speech, freedom of self-expression, freedom of faith. But we know in this moment that First Amendment is under attack. Civil rights, pride is under attack. And in some cases, even our own faith is under attack. It is why it's so important for faith communities to understand the intersection between civil rights, human rights, and faith. And it's why I'm so grateful for the leadership of cair-chicago. cair-chicago is here today, and today we have its executive director, Ahmed Rehab, who will talk a little bit about that work, that coalition at the intersection of faith and civil rights.
I want to begin by thanking Congresswoman Ramirez for this great initiative and conversation. She's been a fearless leader, both in terms of upholding our domestic civil rights and human rights globally, including in Palestine, a space where many elected officials have not had the spine to stand up and push back on the far-right violent government there that is overseeing a genocide and a forced famine, a human-made famine on the people of Gaza. You know, we talk about the importance of our common humanity. You know, I want to zoom out a little bit more, and I hate to do this. I'm not one to compare humans to animals, but the fact of the matter is, many of us here in America, we treat animals better than we treat human beings. The fact of the matter is, many of us support sanctuaries for endangered species. We have no problem with that. Nobody in their right mind would stand up and say we don't want to waste money or resources on protecting animals that are in danger. I'm only asking for the same level of empathy for human beings who are in danger. People who are escaping criminal gangs or hunger or lack of opportunity. If a fawn, a deer, showed up at your doorstep and you assessed that it was hungry, scared, trembling, would you just turn it away out into danger? We're asking for the same thing for human beings, that's all. And when we're talking about Gaza, imagine for a moment if Gaza was filled, instead of human beings like you and me, it was cats and dogs, cute pets, like all Americans love to coo about on their social media, our social media. And it was cats that were crying about their kittens dying of hunger, and dogs crying about their puppies dying of hunger. And they were sniped as they attempted to find food for their children. And there were skeletal bodies running around. Every American of any background, right or left, conservative or liberal, would stand up in outrage against what was happening to them. But as human beings, we're not seeing that same level of empathy and support. So can we start treating, never mind our common humanity, just let's treat human beings no less than we treat animals. And that's a very, very low bar. I want to conclude by saying that civil rights is a subset of human rights, and human rights are a subset of empathy for all creatures. And what our movements are about is to wake us up from whatever divisions that may exist, whatever fear-mongering and terrorizing that happens usually by really wealthy, privileged people that divide the common man and woman, to stand up with each other here in the United States and abroad for our common humanity and our common existence. Thank you.